was the last time you asked for consent? And I'm referring to sexual consent. Was it last year? Maybe a couple of weeks ago? Or maybe last night? Perhaps a couple of hours before this event? Consent is a voluntary and conscious agreement to engage in any physical or sexual interaction. And that can be, but not limited to, kissing someone, touching someone, cuddling and hugging, intercourse, even flirting. Yes, flirting has to be consensual, whether it's through an online dating app or face-to-face. For the last 4.5 years of my professional career, I've spent talking to every audience type you can imagine about consent, healthy relationships, and about sexual violence. Why is this important? Why do I talk about consent for a living? Because in New Mexico, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 20 men will experience an attempted or completed sexual assault in their lifetime. There are survivors in this audience tonight, and it is likely that you already know someone directly or indirectly affected by this. I once gave a presentation to a group of young women between the ages of 16 and 22. We talked about consent, and we went through the 4 key components. It has to be active, it has to be coherent, it has to be willing, and it has to be ongoing. And afterwards, one of those young ladies raises her hand, and she says, "Bianca, all of that sounds really great, but it's not going to happen." I looked at her and I said, "What do you mean it's not going to happen?" And she replied, "Well, I've never been taught to ask for consent, and I've never been taught to expect consent. It's just not going to happen for me." And for a brief moment, I felt defeated, not by her, but by the layers and layers of generational violence that had consumed and affected this particular group of young women, and the lack of education around consent that was denied and never given to them. We eat, we sleep, we bathe, and we have sex. Yes, we have sex. So why not make consent feel as natural as all the other things we're doing in our daily lives? Consent is not the absence of a no, but rather the presence of a yes. Consent is not a courtesy, it's a necessity. And consent is the line between sex and rape. And it can never be assumed. If someone takes you to dinner and a TED event, all you owe them at the end of the night is a thank you. What's awesome, thank you. What's awesome about consent is it's a contemporary conversation. Unlike our cell phones, consent's never gonna go out of style. And it's for everyone, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. And it's an intergenerational conversation. You can introduce consent to a 1-year-old or an 85-year-old. My Welsh grandmother, she used to call a butt a bumby. And I don't know about you all, but I think we could use more bath time songs called Can I Wash Your Bumby? To teach kids about body autonomy, good touch, bad touch, and that they too have power over those little bodies. And let's be honest, we all know plenty of adults and senior citizens who could use a refresher in consent and reminded how consent should and should never be gained. Consent should never be gained through coercion, which is tricking, manipulating, or forcing someone into a physical or sexual act. In fact, marital rape exists. It didn't become illegal to rape your spouse until the early 1990s. Oftentimes, women and girls are told, if you like sex, you're easy, you're promiscuous, or a whole laundry list of offensive words. They are taught, if you deny sex, you're a prude. And if you ask for sex, well, you're a slut. It's a trap. If we don't teach girls and women to assert themselves, set boundaries, or that it's perfectly normal and natural to want sex to be safe and feel enjoyable and be respected, then we are contributing to a rape culture, which is a culture that constructs and enforces these rigid gender roles and sees a persistence of rape as just the way things are. So join me in teaching men and boys that women can deny sex, and so can they. And let's end the blaming and shaming and this crazy notion that somebody asked for it or deserves to be raped because of their behaviors or lifestyle choices. Consent revolutions can begin today, starting in our homes, amongst our family and friends, in our offices, even in the communities we live in. We're already living in a culture of consent, but we got a lot of ground to cover. We're up against institutionalized oppression, so we have to teach current and upcoming generations about consent. This fall, thousands of young people are gonna head off to colleges and universities for the very first time. They're gonna worry about getting through that first semester, what their roommate or living situation will be like, if they packed enough ramen noodles. But what they should never worry about is being sexually assaulted. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 16 men will experience an attempted or completed sexual assault during college. Parents, don't shy away from having a conversation with them about acquaintance and date rape, and emphasizing that no one can gain consent if someone is drunk, incapacitated, or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Consent should never be seen as awkward or a mood killer. If anything, it can enhance that physical or sexual interaction. The secret to good sex is consent. Cosmopolitan magazine should feature 25 hot and sexy ways to ask for consent. Thank you. Instead of 25 ways to pleasure your man for the 100th time. And Robin Thicke, he should change his song Blurred Lines to Clear Lines and sing about consent and not coercion. Sex books and tips and toys, those are great. But consent is the foundation. It's the catalyst to happy and healthy sexual lifestyles. When you are asking for consent, you are not just ensuring that you're not violating this person. You are saying, hey, tonight, I want to make you feel like Meg Ryan in Harry Met Sally in that iconic restaurant scene when she is acting out that orgasm. And if you don't want to set the bar that high, because I understand, you can just say, hey, tonight, I want both of us to feel respected, comfortable, safe, and have some fun.